All right, welcome back, everyone. Time for Showbiz Theater. We have our film expert in the studio. Jason, how are you?
Hello, Adrian. How are you?
I'm excited to be here. Always a pleasure, actually.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure for me to be here on the show talking about my love of films.
Yes, love of films. What are we going to focus on this time? Last week it was actually Snowpiercer. Which movie this time?
We're going to talk about another blockbuster that's hitting screens called The Terror Live, starring Ha Jung-woo, that's been very well received by the local press and audiences, and it's doing very well in the box office.
Now, The Terror Live, is it a terror movie?
It is, but there's a lot more than meets the eye.
Okay.
So let's talk about Ha Jung-woo and The Terror Live. Top anchor Yoon Young-hwa works on a radio program following a scandal that led to his demotion. During a live show, he receives a threatening call from an unidentified listener. Thinking that it's a prank call, Yoon Young-hwa hangs up, but right then he witnesses an explosion on Mapo Bridge. He sees a terrible incident taking place in front of him and realizes that it's a terrorist incident. He conducts under-the-table negotiations with the bureau chief to return to the news team, and he gets to air his phone call with a terrorist live. The terrorist demanded 2.1 billion won, or approximately $1.9 million in compensation, and an apology from the president. Meanwhile, Yoon Young-hwa realizes that the in-ear piece in his ear is a bomb. Who is the terrorist, and why did that person choose Yoon Young-hwa?
All right, Jason, so today we're talking about the movie The Terror Live, starring Ha Jung-woo.
Right.
And I noticed on the trailer that we don't get to see any other actors. So he's the main character of this movie?
He is the main character. There are other characters kind of coming in and coming out of the narrative, but they're very much at the fringes. He literally is in practically every frame, and so it's a testament to his acting that he's able to pull off this rather challenging performance as this kind of radio host of shows called Daily Topic. But what you see is kind of slight shifts in his emotion as the kind of the intensity grows, and he's able to deliver that with tangible kind of authenticity, which makes his performance ever more real.
Now, he seems to be playing a character, a radio host, as you mentioned, who's quite selfish and only focusing on the listener ratings. Is that right?
Right. His career has basically taken a bit of a downturn. He got demoted following a scandal, and so he's very anxious to move up the ladder again. And so he sees his opportunity when a terrorist phones in to basically exploit this opportunity and get on the TV news again. And so it's very selfish, but his emotions, his whole character, his personality begins to change as he begins to learn more about this terrorist, and his life is also in danger.
Of course.
And so it's a very kind of interesting portrayal of this kind of very two- or three-dimensional character.
Blowing up a bridge, the Mapo Bridge. And how long does the movie really last with Ha Jung-woo?
97 minutes, which is a great length for a film. Korean films can often be in excess of 120 minutes. So 97 minutes is actually a nice short film, and a lot of it takes place in one set, this radio studio. And so the fact that it's 97 minutes means that it's not too long, it's concise, and it's a very suitable length.
Perfect. Now, Jason, let's talk a little bit about the director, Kim Byung-woo. I think the director tried to come up with a fun and exciting movie this time, maybe shedding off some of the previous traits.
Yeah, he's formulated a very interesting film. Most of it takes place in one set, although there are a lot of shots that take place from outside through kind of TV footage. And so what he does is he kind of contrasts kind of the interior shots with the exterior shots, which is a very interesting move, and I think has been very successful because a lot of people have responded in how intense and how authentic this film is. And this director, Kim Byung-woo, has managed to orchestrate this level of suspense and excitement within a very confined space. Famous directors like Alfred Hitchcock, of course, have managed to do that with films like Rear Window. And so he comes from a long line of successful directors that have achieved this, but it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, what about here in Korea? Do we have any other movies, one top lead movies that were very successful?
Not really. This is a kind of first kind of movie of this kind, I would say. This film has drawn inevitable comparisons to an American film, Joel Schumacher's Phone Booth, which takes place in a phone booth. And it's a similar kind of concept. And it sounds like an easy thing to do in some ways, just have a camera in a room and then shoot someone and it's going through different emotions and put some interesting dialogue in there. Easy to do. No, not at all. It's very difficult to put together a decent script, a plausible script within 90, 95 or 100-minute narrative.
And I was actually looking also at the filming set, and the room or the place seemed quite small, and they had to fit in, I think, 5 different cameras.
Right. Yeah, it's very, very confined. You've got Ha Jung-woo sitting behind this desk, and then you have these cameras facing him.
All around.
Yeah, so it must have felt a little bit claustrophobic for everyone in there. Not least Ha Jung-woo, who's trying to act with these 5 or 6 cameras right in front of him. Normally there is a lot of space around these actors so they can move and they can act with adjustments and whatnot. So it would have been very difficult for him, and he has received a lot of praise for his performance, and rightly so.
All right.
A very authentic portrayal of this radio host.
Great. All right, Jason, now this movie is basically based on a terrorist attack, so I guess people can look forward to the ending, or at least know that it's probably going to end with negotiations.
Well, the ending is actually one of its interesting points. It's not actually easy to predict what's going to happen. There is a kind of climatic scene at the end, but its actual final kind of wrapping up scene is a little bit different. It's not something that I expected. This movie is about terrorism, but it's also about social injustice as well. And so that forms a key part of this narrative, and that forms part of the kind of more somber ending than I expected.
Okay, so slightly different. Now about the explosion, basically there's a terrorist attack trying to blow up the Mapo Bridge, which is one of the main bridges here in the capital. And the viewers also get to see the explosion via TV set.
Yeah, it's interesting how the director's done this. I think it's partly down to budget restraints, but he's used that to his advantage. So you have these shots inside the studio, and then you have shots outside the studio through kind of camera footage. Not every scene is camera footage, but a lot of it, a huge majority of the shots are done through kind of television camera footage from helicopters and so on and so forth. And so there's an interesting kind of dynamic with footage from outside, with footage inside, and it creates a very interesting effect. It actually brings home the kind of realism. And of course we do unfortunately see terrorist activities on our TV screens, and so that's something that kind of rings in this movie.
Sure. All right, now, Jason, last week we talked about Snowpiercer. That was a huge budget. This time it's, what, 10 or 15 times less?
Yeah, 3.5 billion won, or about $3.1 million. So not a huge budget. It's basically about an average-sized budget for a Korean film. But given that this is a summer kind of blockbuster, it's actually a relatively low budget. But what the director has done here is he's kind of utilised the skills that he has, and he's worked with the budget restraints that he has as well. And he's been able to work around some of these. So, for example, with the television footage of the explosions. And so, yeah, it may not be as authentic as some Hollywood productions, but nonetheless it does bring this kind of realism aspect to it.
And it really keeps the viewers on their toes too. It's very dynamic.
Very dynamic. The editing in particular is worthy of mention here. It's very fast-paced, and that's one of the reasons the film grabs your attention as a viewer. you can't help but want to see what's going on. You don't want to look away for one moment to grab a coffee or anything. It's very fast-paced, and that's partly down to the editing.
And the theme itself, too, you know, a terrorist attack. Now, if you look at world news, you often hear about terrorist attacks here and there. This could actually happen, so it's quite realistic.
Yeah, what the director's done is he's kind of put together this kind of fictional narrative together with kind of realism, realistic kind of aspects such as the news footage and also the social critique that's going on in the film. And he's brought this together in a rather clever way and put together a very worthy commercial feature debut.
Sure.
So if we look at Ha Jung-woo and his previous films, we get to see what an incredible talent he is.
Diversity is the word.
Yeah, one of the biggest leading actors in Korean cinema. He's acted in a whole range of films, The Chaser, that cruel villain, to the Takeoff, where he plays a ski jumper, name is Gangster, need we go on, I mean,
Love Fiction,
a romantic lead,
Berlin File,
North Korean Asian. And here, a radio host, stroke TV personality.
It's quite amazing. He's actually one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite actors too, and as we've seen with this film, he is a big personality, but he's able to kind of adapt into all these different roles as well, whilst also maintaining this kind of persona, which is a very interesting and very attractive.
Yeah, and this time he's also going to make your heart race in the movie with a lot of suspense, this terror movie, basically.
Yeah, and a lot of that suspense is down to the director Kim Byung-woo, but also down to Ha Jung-woo's acting.
Yeah, great job once again. So we won't tell our viewers too much more about this movie.
Yeah.
But please tell us, next week we'll have another production prepared. What is it going to be?
Okay, we're going to talk about The Flu, or Kamgi. It's the Korean title, starring Sung-hae and Jang Hyuk. So it's a big movie that's being released in August and follows the similar lines to Range or Yonggashi.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Jason. That's going to be next week, of course. So make sure you tune in again for another edition of Showbiz Theater. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
See you. Bye.